Alright. Test, 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 test. What's up, everybody? It's your neighborhood friendly greaser, Slick Big Trick here, and today I kind of want to talk about a decision that I recently made where I still don't know if it was a good idea. Like, a part of me feels like it is, but I don't know. You remember 5 months ago when I made that unboxing video of the Xpro-3? And how it was like, oh my god, this is my dream camera. Like, this is the camera that I've been wanting for so long. I ended up trading it in. Now, hear me out. I traded it in for something awesome. Like really awesome. Something that, like, I've been wanting for years, decades even, you know. And I don't truly regret my decision. Yeah, I probably should have thought it through a little bit more, but, well, you know what? Let me show you. Let me show you. Bam! If you don't know what this little guy is the most amazing little gadget that you can ever have in the whole video and photography industry. Like, this thing beats GoPro, hands down. I'm talking the Flip Minnow. Top of the line technology right here. Let's just say you got done recording from a long day of, like, hanging out with your buds and you need to hurry up and upload this onto your laptop or your computer. You just come in, sit down, and what? Plug that into your computer, upload your footage. It's records in 480p, I think 24 frames per second, AVI files. I don't even know what an AVI file is, but I know it's awesome. It's got a really tiny compact LCD screen, just so that way if you ever need to review your footage, all you gotta do is just press that button right there and boom, it shows it. It's got these two little speakers on the back too, so that way you can actually hear what you're recording or what you already recorded. It's got a zoom function and it's got a zoom out function, and the big red circle right there is the record function. Don't worry, if you're ever curious to see if you're recording and you're not really entirely too sure if you're in front of the camera, it's got a little red thingamabob right here to let you know that, hey, you're recording. I'm telling you, state of the art, better than a GoPro. You talking cinematic footage? This thing can get pretty cinematic. I mean, check out this. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Enough about that. In all seriousness, I really did get rid of the Xpro-3. I know, it's probably the biggest mistake that I've ever could have made, but seriously, hear me out. See, the Xpro-3 was literally the best camera that I've ever used in my entire life. It felt right in the hand, it was small, it was compact, it was like the perfect go-to street photography camera. But that camera was too much for me, but at the same time, it wasn't enough. If that makes sense. When I first got into photography, as many of you know, I always really appreciated and loved street photography. Reading all the articles online and watching the YouTube videos about street photography, a vast majority have said that there was 3 main camera brands out there that specialized in street photography. That was the Fujifilm X-Pro line, the Leica QP line, or the Q line. Leica in general is just awesome for street photography. And then there was the Ricoh. When I got into the whole street photography thing, I was already owning a Fujifilm X-H1 at the time. No, it was the X-T2. Oh, I missed that camera. So I already was into the Fuji system, so I thought maybe I should look into the X-Pro-2, which at that time was about a year old or so. And then the Xpro-3 was announced, and I was like, oh my god, street photography. This is the camera that I need for street photography. It had everything. The 26 megapixel camera sensor. It had a brand new classic negative picture profile. Like, this was supposed to be the best camera for street photography. Immediately, I was hooked. Well, then I got it. And don't get me wrong, the camera was amazing. Like, that camera had the best pictures that I've ever seen. You know, both straight out of the camera and raw. Like, I felt like those pictures were super easy for me to edit, you know, without really having to push them to the edge. They were just, like, perfect and crisp, if that makes sense. The ability to change your shadows and highlights in camera while having a preview on how it looks, that was amazing. Like, I still kind of miss that. Like, that's so helpful. I kind of feel like they should bring that into like an X-T3 update, but I don't know. We'll see. They might. Fuji is really good with updating their cameras, so we'll see. The Xpro-3 really truly made me feel like, you know, I was in the moment. It really truly made me feel like that camera was the go-to camera for me, for pretty much everything. I felt like almost like a journalist with that camera, which was kind of cool. But then quarantine hit, and we were all forced to stay inside. And it was at the time that I really started messing with the settings. I started trying to learn the ins and outs, you know, the video functions, the HDR function, the pretty much everything the camera had to offer. And I started realizing that it was a great photography camera, but a mediocre video camera. As of right now, I'm very much a hybrid shooter, and I need a camera to where I can actually take with me to do both photography and then videos if I need to do like behind the scenes or just something like run and gun type of thing, you know? The Xpro-3, yes, it had the ability to record a video, but there's just some things that I was missing, you know? It didn't have an HLG profile, which I'm still dabbling with a little bit more with my X-T3. Oh yeah, I got an X-T3. I'll talk to you about that here in a bit. Yeah, and it could shoot 4K. I think it was up to 60 frames per second, I think. See, already I forgot. But when it came to recording audio, I would have needed to buy an adapter for my external microphone just to use it on the Xpro-3. And yeah, I know, I could have easily went on Amazon and bought an adapter for like, I don't know, what, $4? But why do I want to spend more money on something that I'm ultimately going to end up losing anyways? Like, I'm bad when it comes to adapters. Really bad. How am I supposed to take photos and record video on a camera, especially when I'm very much a run and gun type of person, when I can't capture great audio? Like, that's kind of key for me right now. And then I started thinking about it more about some of the other functions, not just the video side. I started thinking about the HDR function. That is seriously an amazing little function, like especially if you're doing like wilderness shoots or like landscape or something that requires a lot more detail. That HDR function was like crisp. The hybrid viewfinder was awesome, but I found myself using more of the electronic viewfinder than the optical. Even though the camera itself was designed to not chimp, whenever I ended up using it for some of my portrait work, I would chimp. And I am a chimper, I know that. And having that flip down screen and then showing that to my client, it wasn't difficult, it was just kind of annoying. Although I did kind of like holding that little flip screen just in case I need to like get the right angle, and it was just an extra, you know, hand grip pretty much. But look, I still very much consider myself amateur, kind of, when it comes to photography. So take what I say with a grain of salt. So, what did I end up trading it in for? Well, I kind of already told you, but I'm going to go grab it anyway, so hold on. The X-T3. Now, this is a camera that I originally wanted when I first got into photography. I believe when I got into it back in 2018, this had just come out at the time, and I couldn't afford it. I wanted to afford it so bad, but I just couldn't. So I ended up buying the X-T2 at the time, which I still kind of miss that camera. Like, that camera was legit one of my favorite cameras. Me, I'm never satisfied with the camera that I'm using, so I of course did this whole line of trading it in for other random useless crap that I didn't really need. But in this instance, trading the Xpro-3 for the X-T3 is something I don't regret, like, at all. In fact, I'm really happy with this camera. This is like my go-to portrait camera that shoots amazing video footage. And not only did I manage to get this guy, I also got a hell of a deal on the 56mm f1.2 lens. My portraits feel like they are just 1,000 times better just because of this lens. I'm going to do a separate review entirely on this guy, but until then, just know if you follow me on Instagram, most of my pictures are this guy right here. It's crazy because after I got this set up, I truly feel like my photography and videography setup is complete. Like, I don't have any urge to buy new cameras. I don't have any urge to buy new lenses. Like, I'm set. I have 3 cameras that I use pretty regularly and couldn't be happier. I now got the X-T3, my X-H1 that I use for most of my videos, and my RX100 Mach 6, which I use for shorter videos just because it tends to overheat a lot. Or I also use this kind of like out when in the field for just random stuff. I like this little guy. It's pretty reliable. I mean, it overheats if you use it for a long period of time, but if you're using it for short bursts or doing just kind of like a quick vlog with multiple batteries in your pocket, this guy comes in handy. Besides, can't really vlog with the X-H1. It's a little heavy. I haven't tried it with this one yet, but I would imagine it's also pretty heavy. My camera setup is fully complete. Like, I don't need it anymore. I'm happy with what I got right now, and I wouldn't want it any other way. With that being said, I gotta go and prepare for my brother-in-law's party. He wants me to take one of my cameras because he knows I'm the picture guy, and I don't mind taking pictures at his house. It's pretty fun. So, like always, thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one. Love, peace, hair grease. Stay greasy, everybody.